Okay, 81 is in the middle of a whole bunch of busy stuff. And I'm going to do what's called the pickup, the 2/8 notes before 81, because those notes are a little chunk grouping, which would be 4, D, 4, 4 on G, open D. So do you see how that works? It's just 4, D, 4, and then 2, A, 1, 2. That's a lot. I mean, you've got basically the 2 gets added onto that chunk. 4, D, 4, 2. Now A, 1, 2. Hop 2 across. Now 1, 2, 2 again. Then hop 2. That's a lot of hopping. Do you see how that works? So what I might do, it's just like, oh my gosh, there's always something new, something new. I'm going to go to the bottom line, and I'm going to start in the 4th measure in 1, 2, 3, 4 on this A, 1, 1, 1, 1. So this is really backwards practicing where I go A, 1. Oh, I can do that all day, those last few measures. And now I will go ahead of that by 2 bow strokes. I'll go 1, 1 ahead of that. 1, D, 1, A, 1. I'll do that one again. From the E in the 3rd measure, 2nd beat. E, B, E. Okay, now I'm going to go 2 bow strokes ahead of that. That puts me on 2, the last note of the 2nd measure, so it'll be 2, 1, 1, 1, A. Cool. Now I'm going to go 2 more notes ahead of that. That's the 2nd measure of that last line. 2, 2, hop 2 again. 1, 1, 1, A, 1. Oh, that's cool. So for a measure, I do 2, 2 hops, and then I do 1, 1 hops. And okay, what's the measure before that? Ooh, a 2, 2 hop, and then a 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 1. Cool. Now I'm going to go back to that 81. 4, 2, A, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, A, 1. And by going back into little chunks into something always familiar, it's always better. So here's that pickup to 81. This should be much more friendly. 4, D, 4, 2, A, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Now it might be too much to coordinate the left hand and the bow. So what you can do while I'm bowing is you can just do plucking, and you have your finger just pluck every note. So you'd go 4, D, 4, 2, A, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. And you don't use your bow till you can do it plucking first. And what's really neat is some of the things that we already practiced. I'll go back by measure. So this is measure 80. We're going backwards by measure. 1, 1, 4, D, 4. Do that measure again. Let's do it 3 times. And then go on. And then I'll do the same thing. Oh my goodness, that's the same measure. Measure 79 and measure 80 are exactly the same. Yippee. So what you do is you just keep kind of going backwards like that. Now if I go ahead of that, a whole other measure, I have this 2, 1, D, 1. So it's 2 on D, 1 on G. I'm just going to stop there because that's a 2, 2 hop, 1, 1 hop. That should be getting easy by now. So now I'm gonna go back even one more measure. Oh my goodness, that's the same thing I just played. So you're sort of discovering, I got 2 measures of the same pattern. 2, 1, 2, 1. Now I got 2 measures of this pattern. You're training your brain to think in patterns. There's that 2-2 hop. Oh, and now I'm on the 2-2 measure hop. 1, 1, 1, A, 1. That time I decided to go on. And then if I go back, hey, I've got the same thing here, but it's a little different. I do a up, up here. 4, hop 4, up, up. Oh, I could practice just that measure. Up, up. But that measure before that has 2 eighth notes, so it's 4, hop 4, 1, 2, 4, up, up. Then to the 2, 1, D, 1, 2. Then the 1, 1, same measure. 4, 2, 8, 2, 1, 1 hopping. And then I start to go, that's not so bad. If I start at 73, same thing. Up, up. And then maybe I want to do that. Up, up. Of that. And really that's those bottom lines that were a little bit more tricky. And then what's really nice, if you look at 65, it's a 2-2 hopper again. I've done that before. There's that 2-2 hopping, now it's 4-4 hopping instead. Now A1, 2 for A, 2 for A, 2 for A again, 2 for A again, and I'm at 73. Hey! What seemed so difficult, those last 3 lines, now I can break down into smaller steps every day. There you go.